rebuilding of the.
Very nice. Always, those the right AP writers are always above. No, obviously this is a step along the process. We started, basically in December and talked about the ownership change to the NBA. We talked about the resources they bring in, and honestly, we couldn't pull it off by ourselves. The NBA is coming in with people and resources. We do about 300 events a year, so to cram 100 into 100 days, when you talk about the extensive planning that it takes, when you tell a season ticket holder or somebody, we're going to come in your house, we're going to set it up with food, we're going to have entertainment, honeybees and all that stuff, we're going to pull it off, get those RSVPs together. It's a lot of work, but it's really the type of work that we need to do, other than billboards and things like that are not what's going to get us there.
Can you get into any technical detail about the significance of the 10,000 number? I mean, I understand the concept, but an explanation from you would be.
There's a couple reasons that 10,000 is important. One is 10,000 is the number that the 29 other owners who have a stake in this team judge themselves, right? So 10,000 has been the benchmark for all NBA owners. So when they look at what's happening here and they can say, wow, a significant benchmark like that's been passed in New Orleans, it gives everyone confidence that this is a market that's got viability long-term, everyone feels strong about. Secondly, as you look at an ownership group that's going to come in, if we're asking them to make a significant dollar contribution to invest in a team like this, they can't do it on the hope that people will step up and buy it because they bought the team. So knowing that the financial model works from a bottom line standpoint before an owner can look at it and evaluate it to purchase it is critically important as well. So there's a national perspective that we gain, and there's a local perspective that enhancement that we gain.
But when other franchises right now are struggling for season tickets and games, is that not a little bit unfair for New Orleans?
What is that? What does that you mean?
I mean, I've read where the attendance at games this season in NBA is down a little bit. Is that not unfair to make New Orleans get 10,000?
Yeah, it's not a fairness issue. It's getting it ready to be sold to someone here. Now, if someone was willing to buy it with half the financial performance, we saw that didn't work out too well, right? So what we're doing is getting it to a point where we've got long-term commitments, we've got the right financial model here, so that someone locally will buy it. And candidly, if our objective is to make sure that it's here, what happens in other markets doesn't bother me so much.
Is there any flexibility in this, though? I mean, 10,000 is a great benchmark, but suppose it's 9,700. I mean, would there be?
Ultimately, a new owner is going to decide what is, worth the risk. Right? This is all a risk reward right now, but it's my job and Jack's job to take all the risk out of it for them. Right? So I'm telling our staff internally that failure is not an option. We can't even think about what it means to fall short. Just like I can't, Dale and Monty don't tell their folks, the basketball operations people, what if we only make the first round? I mean, you can't go into it with that attitude. You have to have the attitude that we're going to get there, and we're going to overcome every conceivable obstacle. And if, in fact, something's changed along the way, we're going to continue changing and adapting to make sure we hit the objective.
Hugh, at these events, is part of the message that you're telling these folks and season ticket holders and, I guess, potential season ticket holders, is there a difference in terms of what's on the court and the fact, like the message of the RUN campaign of it's more most important to Hornets? Because I'm just thinking it may be some folks that say, well, what about Chris? What about the future of the team?
There's a number of reasons why people choose to buy tickets or not, right? And we've done vast number of surveys, Gus, on this, and the surveys all come back that they're very confident in our basketball operations. They're confident in the direction of the team. They're confident that this team is on the rise, that if, in fact, whatever the challenges might be with Chris or David opting out or whatever, that we have a group and a core of leadership there that's going to make the right decisions to make this team better. The issues really come down to more, time. Do I have enough time in the year to go to 41 games? Do I, what's the cost of the tickets? So we've actually come up with some programs where we have a 10-game buyback program, which means you buy season tickets and you have 10 games you can't go to, we'll buy them back, right? So. And we were doing other ways to promote so that we can take care of some of these real objections, because if you look at those surveys, the vast majority of people who say they haven't bought yet is because of something that's non-basketball related.
How important it is for you to get as many sales possible before June 30th?
I think the market is a little bit different here. I mean, we seem to be focused on things that, even if you look at the coverage of the NFL lockout here, it's just a little bit different than it probably is in different markets. I think that what we're working against really is a defined momentum on our current team, and an understanding that those things, those national kind of things, are going to take care of themselves. But we got to take care of what we have to take care of. The issue is not necessarily anything magical about June 30th. There is something real about when we stop playing basketball, we kind of fall out of the mindset of people, right? So one of the things that these events help us do is it gets us back into the flow of saying, you know what, I'm going to go to an event, I'm going to hang out with my friends, we're going to go to someone's house, because that now gives them a reason to talk about the Hornets.
Is this a way to, I guess, maybe take potential fan fatigue out of the equation, being that you know, fans have had to hit benchmarks before and those kinds of things? But if you do it with season ticket holders, among other their
Yeah, let me
friends,
tell you,
maybe,
yeah, John, I'm 1,000% empathetic with our fans and the real fatigue, as you call it, of having to prove themselves. I totally get it, which is why we'd love to structure a different partnership with the state that does not have us, you know, having to prove ourselves over and over again. I think that metric is something that it was built into our agreement for a variety of reasons, but I think the unintended consequences that fans do feel like they're doing their part. But there are an outer layer of fans whose commitment is more on the periphery, that maybe that is, now that they see this I'm in, whole part of really securing a community asset long term, who will jump in the fray, even though they haven't been supporting the team consistently, will jump in because they know it's, you know, the best thing to do for the community. So it's a fine line we walk. You know, it's one of those things that we embrace our fans. We want to be part of the family. We don't want to challenge them to do anything more than they're capable of. But at the same time, we have to spell it out that this is the reality of where we are right now.
How happy you are? I mean, I don't recall you ever having 8,000 plus season ticket holders in June. I mean, I don't recall that.
You know, we're fortunate that we have had, you know, some good traction early on. I think some of that had to do with our surprising play in the playoffs. You know, we sold over 5,000 new season tickets in 2007, 2008 through that playoff run. So we have had situations when we've had a similar amount of encouragement from our basketball operations. You know, we hear a lot that people are saying, I'm going to renew, it's just not right now. And so all we're really saying to those people is just put your deposit down. Just put your name on the list so that we know that you're there. And that way we can count you in the fold. And so when we go talk to an owner, they'll know that you're there.
Do you have any kind of either anecdotal or statistical evidence that, you know, there are those people in that economic strata, business people, whatever, enough left to get to that number?
Yeah, well, first off, we have a lot of folks that were in that family that haven't renewed yet. You know, when we had 10,000 season tickets before, you know, it's not like all those people still have tickets. You know, they don't. A lot of them dropped out for different reasons. I think that the economy is also better than it was, you know, 3 years ago. I think that the city is in better shape than it was 3 years ago. So we're seeing a lot of economic indicators, people's business, where the people who are in are truly getting in deeper. They're adding more seats. It's just those people that were in that jumped off that we need to get back on board.
Is this just going to be a New Orleans thing, or are you going to try to reach out to Baton Rouge?
Yeah, this is actually a multi-parish effort. So we've already have reached out and done some events in Baton Rouge. We're going to do some events in Tanmi and St. Bernard and some of the other parishes to make sure that this is not just a New Orleans effort. This is an effort for the entire region, and we've got you know, political leadership and others that are stepped up to host these things.
Any update on ownership, local, whatever?
You know, I think Jack would be a better person to ask about that, but I think that the folks that are watching the numbers, that are the ones that would, you know, make the large investment to keep the team here, are watching with encouragement, you know, the things that we're doing here, not only on the ticketing side but the sponsorship side. And so I think, you know, we've got some work to do before we can sit down and have some real solid conversations. But, you know, I think we're all encouraged, but not quite satisfied.
Thanks, guys. I'll bring you
All right.
back.